very close to what you originally had. You'll notice we get the Science Junior. We're gonna get one, but we get two goo pods, right? We're also gonna have a thermometer and a barometer. I think you have all of these science pieces. We've got an antenna. The only antenna you need is this Communitron 1600. That's plenty of antenna. You don't need the fancy expanding one. But if you want to put the one that extends on, knock yourself out. It looks cooler. Okay, so now below all of this, we've got a heat shield. Right, so here's basically your whole return and science package. We bring it all back, right? And we'll put this back on here. So then, of course, we've got a decoupler. You've got four. Let me zoom out. Four. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 T200 fuel tanks. Right? Then I put on. Let's break it down by parts. There's your whole thing that's going to get in orbit and to the moon, right? And so it uses one T400 fuel tank, excuse me, and it's got just two T100 batteries, nothing special. And then it's got, I put 8 of these OX stat flat panel solar panels. I think you have those. I hope you do. If you don't, then just put like 8 of these batteries all the way around so you don't run out of power. Okay, these panels will keep these batteries charged, and you don't really need any more power than what's in this to get to the moon. And just for the cool factor, the super cool factor, I put on 4 of these little lights. I don't know, you may not have lights unlocked yet. If you don't sweat it. Lights don't do anything except make you look cool and move at least 50 miles faster. Now, the final, so this is what gets in orbit, right? This is called your orbital stage. This is the service module, and this is the command module. This whole section below, and you'll notice I have a mod on here called Kerbal Engineering Redux. And so this stage, as it is right now, has a vacuum delta V of 2058, right? Like I said before, all you need to get to the moon is once you're in orbit, is 680. And then to capture when you get to the moon is 280, and then to get back to Kerbin you need another 280. When you add all that up, it's like 1400 or something. You could almost land this thing. It has no landing gear or anything, and I wouldn't recommend trying it, but this will not be a far hop from the next thing you're going to want to do once you can get to the moon and orbit it and come back to Kerbin, and that of course is to land on the moon. So this ship will also get you close to that, and you've got all the parts you need for it, and you're going to get a butt ton of science very quickly, because once you can get to the moon, like I said, you put yourself in a polar orbit around the moon, and then you just keep popping out of the capsule every time you're over a new biome. You take an EVA sample, and you pop back in the capsule, and you just sit there and wait. You just got to be patient, because you're going to be whipping around the moon, and it's slow to get over the biomes. You might want to Google moon biomes and Google Minmus biomes, because the next thing you're going to do once you get to moon is you're going to do the same thing over Minmus. And once you've done both moon and Minmus, you'll have almost 4 ranks of the tech tree done, rather than this 15 science at a time baloney. So now so this is the orbital stage. Pardon me for being scattery here. I'm doing this all on the cuff, no scripting or anything. So I threw this all together in about 15 minutes after I got off the stream. I felt really bad that we couldn't get you to orbit with that. Because of my altered state of mind, I thought you just wanted to get around the moon and back to Minmus, learn how to, or back to Kerbin, learn how to get to the moon, was what I thought our plan was. So I apologize for that, but this I hope will make up for it, because I'm gonna try to cover a couple things in the process of this. Let me see. And also, but I don't want to make it go crazy long. So what's it look? I'm 5 minutes in. Okay, so we're doing good. So now, this stage is called the boost stage, right? The purpose of all of this down here is to get you into orbit, and to get from kerbin into orbit, you need 3,400 delta V. Well, let's add it up. The first stage is going to be the 2 boosters, and they're thumpers. You have those. And they're going to get you in atmosphere. I got to switch to atmosphere. In atmosphere, they're going to get you 892 meters per second. And then they're going to quit and drop off. And then your main engine is going to kick in, which is a swivel. You want that engine because it gimbals and it allows you to control the rocket. And you'll notice I don't have any fins on here. I don't need them. But if you do have trouble controlling the rocket, by all means, put some basic fins on. That's all you need are the basic fins. And so that engine, or this stage, this core, it's called the core stage, will get you another 1,882 delta V. So at this point, you've used 2,000, or you've burned 2,774 delta V, and this stage is going to fall away. So to get that last, what is it, 307, a little under 700 delta V that you need to get to the total of 3,400, you're going to steal that from this stage up here. You're going to take 700 delta V away. But guess what? What did we have? Something like, what did we have? Oh, sometimes it does this. That's okay. I'm not sure how to fix it though. If I do that. Oh, I'm in atmosphere. So got to be careful. I'm in atmospheric calculations here. If I do that, that's your vacuum delta V. There are 2 kinds of engines. There are atmospheric engines, which basically have small nozzles, and then there are vacuum engines, which have really big nozzles. KSP designed it wrong. They kind of did it backwards, but that's the idea. But you have over 2,000 delta V, so we can afford to steal a couple hundred delta V away from this stage. Now, I try to build in a lot of excess for you here, but if you're finding yourself having trouble getting to orbit, let me go down here. Let me point out also that our thrust to weight right now, I thrust limited these boosters, you can see. And my thrust to weight is 1.43. Go with that. It gives you, it's not too overpowering. 1.33 is kind of the minimum. So I'm trying to give you some breathing room at everything that I'm building here. Now, if you find this difficult to get to orbit, it's a simple thing to fix. Just stick 2 more of these. Just pull that guy off and go to 4-way symmetry and put 4 of them on. Oopsie. Let's try 4. Put 4. Once again, it's that bug. My mouse moved over the top of the 2-way symmetry launch clamps, and so it switched to 2. So if I move my mouse above and then come over, hey, look, it's 4. It's not switching on me anymore. It took me a while to figure that out too. But yeah, just stick 4 of these babies on and try to put their bells, their engines, just below your engine. And mount them, right, on your decouplers. You notice they're up higher on here. This is when they decouple, the decouple force will push this way. So this whole thing will swing out this way, and because it's slightly below your engine bell, it will swing out and below your ship. And that way you won't damage anything. So once you do that, of course, your TWR is going to go through the roof, 1.9 now. So now you got to grab them and bring that back down to 1.4, right like that. See? And so now you've got a lot of extra delta V. You'll have almost the entire 2,000 delta V left in this stage if you go with this design right here. But to get to orbit, all you should need is move these boobies here. Go back to 2. I have a mod that you don't have called something editor. It's been so long since I've been doing KSP1 that I've forgotten a lot of the mods. But that's why you see numbers here. You see the little patterns pop up. 2-way, 4-way, 8-way. But it doesn't matter. So we'll put our boosters on here. The other thing you can do, I don't know if you figured this out yet. I can take the boosters and put them exactly where I want them, or I can just slap them on. And then if you press the 2 key, see 1, 2, 3, 4. If you press the 2 key, that highlights. And now I can come here and pick that, and I can pull it up exactly where I want it. And initially, the boosters will want to attach it at the middle. So I did the same thing with them. I just clicked the booster and I scooched it so that they're like that. Got it? Then press 1 to come back to normal mode. This. Put on our launch clamps. Staging. Launch clamp and boosters. Staging. The side boosters come off and you want to start this engine. If you don't want to do a second click, right, once to stage, once to ignite the engine, you can just do this. Pull the engine and the decoupler in the same. Oh, I'm sorry. No time to edit, but let me take that back. Okay. This is going to decouple. Oh, no. I was right the first time. If this will decouple, and then you have to press space again to ignite that engine. If I do this, the 2 boosters will drop off and that engine will start automatically. So I can just kill that one. And it's the same thing for up here. When this decouples, you want to fire that engine. So if I put it back up, I did the same thing. I pulled the decoupler, you can see it highlighting, and the engine into one stage. So now I've got, that's the whole rocket. That'll get you all the way to the moon, and you can start doing your science. And now the bonus round, I'm going to go into actually launching this thing, so you can kind of watch with commentary how I do the launch. So first of all, let's save it, make sure everything is saved, and I'm going to launch. And 90% of the time you're going to come up at night. I don't understand it because it's 50% day and 50% night, but it always seems like 90% of the time I end up on the launch pad at night. Thinking. There we go. Okay, I'm on the launch pad. And of course it's night. Over here, I don't know if you noticed, but if you click on your mission elapsed time and your warp button, this thing comes out and there's a little sun here. If I click on it, that'll warp until daylight. Hey, look at that. We get to launch in the light. Right. Now, I'll press, if I press the U key, I put some lights on this. You don't need lights on yours. I just put them on for the cool effect, but then the lights turn on. And you get this cool misting effect because of a mod called Waterfall. You won't see that. You'll just see the lights come on and they won't have the starburst and it'll look a little more plain. Okay, then the sequence I go through is U, turn on the lights, T, turn on stability assist, Z, go to max throttle, V, just make sure the camera's in free mode. I just like to do those things on launch. Okay, so now with everything there, let's go. We're going to hopefully do this in one take. I'm going to hit thrust. Oh. Did I okay, no problem. 1 second. Hit revert flight, go back to the VAB and see what happened here. Sometimes it's a bug. You just have to relaunch and it'll fire, or it's an honest mistake. Right here I've got atmospheric pressure. Oh, no, it's a real honest mistake. I somehow thrust limited me. Oh, when we went to 4 boosters and then I went back to 2 boosters, now my TWR is bad. That's why I do it all the time. That's why I kept reminding you every time you would change it to go back and check your TWR. So now it's back to 144. We'll save it and we'll launch again. And we'll pretend that I did that as a training exercise. That was my plan. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to that. So what are we? We are now... I'm having trouble seeing where the... Oh, we're 16 minutes in. Okay, this is getting longer than I want. Okay, let me get you to orbit here, okay? So the sequence, turn the lights on, turn the SAS on. Z, turn full throttle. V, make sure you're in free mode. Hit the space bar, and you're off. See, it started to drop a little bit even at 1.44. That's why I bumped it up a little. Right, once I get to 25 meters per second, well, I don't do the roll. I set the ship up in the way you want to go. So, but once we get to about 1,000 meters or 100 meters per second, I'll start to pitch over, like right now. Start pitching over. Okay, not once. It's a little wimbly wambly. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't set you up already set up to pitch over to the east. If you notice down here, I'm going north. We're going into a polar orbit right here. So one more revert. Let's set the rocket up in the right orientation. Revert the vehicle assembly. And we're just going to turn the rocket 90 degrees. So when you just naturally pitch down, you're going to be facing east. And to do that, we take the whole rocket. Nope, we don't hit A. Take the whole rocket and we hit Q. One tap on Q. Right? This direction is east. This direction here is east. So launch again. Try not to make this too long. So let's just go back out. Okay, so now pitching down should be east. I hope. We might have to do one more revert and flip it around 2 times to get the only other way if I made a mistake, but there we go. That looks right. Okay, so once again, U, T, Z, V, launch. And you see in the bottom of the nav ball, it says 90. So all I have to do now is pitch down, pitch towards me. But I'll wait until I'm at, so just take deep breaths. Deep breaths. Okay, 600 meters. When I get to 1,000, I'm going to start my pitch over. And you notice SAS is on. SAS always stays on. Once I get to over 1,000 meters, I'm going to start pitching forward like I'm doing right now. Right? Keep the bearing indicator. Don't get too far ahead. The bearing indicator is the thing with the V, and your prograde vector is the circle with the ticks. And you want to keep those not too far apart from each other. Now, why it's wanting to pitch so far to the right? You know what? One more revert. We are going to put fins on this. The boosters do not gimbal. They have no gimbal. They have no ability to change the angle of pitch. So whatever way they want to start to fall is the way they're going to go. So we fix that with fins. So very quick, one more revert back to the VAB. And now the fins you want for this, let's see, I don't know what fins you have. This is aerodynamics. This is the full sandbox, so this is everything that you can eventually get. And this is all stock. There's no extra parts. So let's see, here's the basic fins. I think we're gonna need more than those. I'm hoping, oh, I saw you had these fins. I saw you. These are the ones you really want down here. The Delta Deluxe. But I don't know if you have them, so I'm going to use yours. These are kind of overpowering. They're more for airplanes than they are for spaceships. And once again, we're going to go to 4-way symmetry, and we're going to stick those on. Whoop, see, I went over the top of the boosters. Click, click. Come up here where I'm not touching the boosters, and then come down. You always want your fins. Here's another important thing. You always want your fins as far down as possible. This is where your ship's center of gravity is. That's where the ship's going to pitch, up and down. It's going to move around, rotate around that point, right? And basically, the way that you get the ship to pitch around that point is you apply a force somewhere behind the center of gravity. So if I apply a force down here, it's going to pitch towards me. If I apply a pitch down here on this side, it's going to pitch this way. And watch what happens. This is why you don't. I know fins look cute or sexy or hot when they're up high on the rocket, but they're the worst thing you can do. And here's why. I'm going to turn on the center of lift. See, that blue ball is where the force is going to be applied when these things engage, and it's above my center of gravity, which is bad right now. But you're going to be going up straight most of the time in the beginning, and the CG is going to change when these boosters drop off, and this ball is going to move back behind the CG. But look what happens when I move the fin, so you see what it actually does. If I take a fin off and I move them up, see, the blue ball goes up. If I move them down, the blue ball, oh, I touched the, I wish they'd fix that. I consider that a bug. It's a pain in the bazooka. But anyway, if I move it down, the farther I move it down, the farther I get it behind. Oh, gee whiz. Let's do this. Jeez. Oh, geez, Rick. Okay. Let's see. No, that didn't do it. That direction, so we got to come in from the stop direction here. Okay, so you want them as far back as it'll let you put them, and for me it looks like right there is as far as I can get them back. And right now you're perfectly balanced. You got your center of lift right on top of your center of gravity, and that's why the thing started to pitch and I had no control over it. So anyway, back to the flying. Save it. Well, not even going to save it. Just going to jump right out. We're in speed twitching mode here. And I am recording still. That's good. My microphone is a Focusrite USB microphone controller, and it has a habit of dropping its connection in, and I'm talking for 10 minutes and nothing's being recorded. So once again, this is good practice. U, turn on the lights. T, turn on the SAS. Z, go to full throttle. V, make sure your camera's in the right mode. Launch. Probably move that TWR up to about 1.55. Right, so I'm going to turn in this direction here. And once again, deep breaths, calm. Not anxious. Wait for 1,000. Once you get 1,000, start pitching down. Always looking at your Apple app. I have my Apple app set up here. Yours is going to be down here. Don't let that confuse you. Pitching down. Keep pitching down. You see this right here? When this gets to that part right there, you want to be at about 60 degrees on the nav ball. Okay? So rather than waiting to 10K, right, and then just trying to blast down to 60, just do this as you go. So now I'm at 60. By the time I get to 20, I want this to be down at 45. So I'm looking here. Once I get to 20, I'm continuing to kind of pitch down. And once again, the V with the wings is called your bearing indicator. That's where you're pointed. The zero, the circle, is where you're actually moving. So right now you see I'm at 20K and the circle is right at 45. Right? This might take a little practice. And now just continue pitching down. And what you want to look for next is when you're at 45K. Right? When I'm at 45K, right? Or I'm sorry, the next one you want to look for is 30K. When you're at 30K, you want to be down around the 20-degree pitch marker. See, now I'm getting ahead of my bearing marker, but it will slowly pull down. Now, I usually adjust my throttle going up, but this is so I don't confuse you. We're just going to stay full throttle all the way. Right? So now I'm at 60. When I get to 60, I want to be down level with the horizon, right? And we're going to go up to 100K. Oh no, we're just going to go to 70. To 80. Boom. Close enough. Okay. Now I'm at 80K. I can switch to the map mode. Oh god, I didn't know I had all that shit up there. No. Can I hide it all? Yes. Okay. So, like we said before, I'm 1 minute and 37 seconds from the apoapsis. I can't use this thing down here because I have an issue with the vision in my right eye, so I gotta use this one up here. So we're gonna do that same thing. We're gonna pitch to the horizon, but you'll notice the circle, your bearing indicator or your heading indicator, is actually above there. So you got to manually do it with S. Using your SAS. So manually put pitch down. I'm right on the horizon. Now just keep it there. Don't touch it. Don't do anything. Just make sure it stays there. Right? I'm 50 seconds from my apoapsis now. So I'm going to burn. And that's pushing it away. Right? I'm just going to keep it about 50. Now, a little trick you can do here is if I'm pushing it away too much, I can pitch that. It's okay to pitch below the horizon. If I pitch below the horizon, you'll notice. Oh, I accidentally cut my throttle. Oh, no. Oh, I had to stage. Sorry. Cut my throttle. Cut my throttle because I'm pushing it away. Now I'm just gonna wait once again till I get I'm now 40 seconds away. Okay, sorry. I can go full throttle again. There we go. Okay, so there it is. It's getting pushed away again, right? So throttle. Right. See, when you get too far away from it, all you do is push it up, right? If you're close to it, you basically are expanding your orbit. You're pushing the sides out. And that's what you want. Once you get the orbit you want to expand the sides out. So once again, I'm going to wait till I get close. Deep breaths. I'm trying to do this calmly because when you get excited, that's when mistakes happen. So I'm waiting until 30 here. Just for grins. Now I'm going to wait till 40. I'm going to push it out that far in front of me. Push it out to 1 minute. And I think next time I'll take it into 30. Since I'm not throttling. And you can do this. You are actually, I saw on your stream, you were actually doing this by adjusting your throttle. So this is just the way I teach beginners to do it. Just keep getting up close to the apoapsis and then thrust, and then get up to the apoapsis and burn. Just keep repeating that process. So I'm going to get a little closer this time since full throttle's pushing it away pretty quickly. In fact, I might wait till I'm down to 20 seconds away this time so I can burn a little longer. Okay. Burn. Okay, now my PE, and this is important to be in this view, my PE has just come over the horizon. So I'm now starting to come over the horizon. And if you right click on the PE, it will pin it. So now you see I'm at 29,000. You don't have to look at either this or this over here, whichever way you're used to doing it. Right? So once again, I'll wait till I get closer, and then and this time I'm going to wait till I'm just right on top of it. Once I'm at once it's come over the horizon, I'm just going to go right on top of it. And I can use the greater than key to zoom up faster, and then the less than key to decelerate. And then once again, we'll do a Z. Keeping our eye on the PE. You'll notice when you start to get circular, the PE and the AP will want to swap sides. So that's when you know you're getting close to a circular orbit. But once again, if I burn now, see, I'm already at 87. We started around 80, so I kind of got a little impatient, but I'm super rushing here. And in fact, let me use this as an opportunity to explain what these different things do. If I burn radial in right now, I'm going to swivel my orbit like a hula hoop. If I burn in, I'm going to lower the orbit in front of me, and I'm going to raise it behind me. And right now, I'm too high in the front, so I'm going to press radial in, and you'll see my ship. Of course, it's dark. It's nighttime, of course. Radial in. I accidentally hit normal. Radial in. Radial in. Why is it not pointing radial in? Did I do something? I'm not. Well, I'm getting close to here again, so I don't want to mess anything up. I'm going to go back to prograde. And this time I'm definitely going to wait until I'm at it or beyond it, actually, even. Just going to warp to there. Okay, so I can see it again. And instead of hitting Z for full throttle, I'm just thrusting. You can see I'm moving the thrust up here slowly. You see how they want to swap sides? And now one side's 87 and the other side's 80. So you got a pretty close. Well, other side's 82. If I kept burning, they'd level out. But oh well, I can do that thing I was going to try to do, but I got a little disoriented. In front of me, I'm too low. I'm lower than I am behind me. So what I want to do here is I want to raise the orbit in front of me and lower it behind me. So I'm doing my hula hoop swivel symbol here. This whole orbit right here, the orbit that you see, is going to pivot around where I am in the orbit. So when I do that, by burning radial in, gotta find radial in. There it is, radial in. You see radial in points toward the ground. Brown is ground, and my nav ball white is up. If I go switch here, you can see I'm now pointing radially in. Right? So come back out. Now watch what happens to this altitude when I start. Wait a second. I want to raise the orbit in front of me and lower it behind me. So I actually want to burn radial out. So now you see I'm pointing up, away from the planet. And now if I burn, there we go. This number will go up. So I'm burning. See it? 83. And you can't go any farther than that. When this guy gets to you, now I'm at 86 and 84. Now the only way you can get these to be equal is to turn prograde. That's why these buttons are so important. Turn prograde, spin to prograde. Then once again, just a little burn. There you go. They swap sides. As soon as they swap sides, look, we're perfectly circular. And that is how I get to orbit. Now this ship has enough delta V to get all the way to the moon. I'm not going to get all the way to the moon in this. I might as well do the whole thing. If you can bear with me here, I'm up to 35 minutes. It's got way longer than I wanted. Hopefully you're able to stick with me. So now I'm going to zoom out until I see the moon, and I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to say set as my target, and I'm going to put it. This is a clock, right? That's 12 o'clock. If I come in here to 12 o'clock, this is 3 o'clock right here. I'm going to come back a little bit to what I call the 4 o'clock position and add a maneuver node. If you set up that configuration, watch what happens when I just do a prograde burn. Every time you'll get an intercept with the moon. Every time. You're basically shooting for where the moon is going to be by the time you get out here. So I'm actually burning so that my orbit is 45 degrees in front of the moon's orbit. So now you right click on once again left click on the moon and hit focus and zoom in on the moon. Right, and this is kind of tricky. You got to get in on the moon, and then you got to try to pick your maneuver node again, which is right there. So, yep. And if I grab that prograde handle and oh, this is another mod I've got you don't have. I could actually do it down here, but I'm avoiding that because you're only going to have this to work with. But I'll get the prograde handle, and if I tug it forward, oh, look what happens. I start to get closer and closer and closer to the moon. And you get to wherever you want your moon orbit to be, right? And I'm in an equatorial moon orbit, so we're good there. I'm not going to talk about how you shift this to get to polar orbit because this will turn into an hour video, and I don't want to do that. We're already getting long. So what I can do now, I can't warp that far. Can I warp to... Wait. I have to make the maneuver burn. Oh. Now, hit the tilde key. Will take you back to your ship. Right? And so I have to make this burn, obviously. So, what I will do is, there's this marker right here. This is just flat SAS. One to the right says turn to your maneuver marker, which is a blue marker. If I click it, see that blue tri shape is your maneuver marker. So once I'm pointed at the maneuver node, all I have to do is hit this to warp to the point where I want to make the burn. And you see this is the time. I'm 54 seconds away from the burn, and the burn's going to be about 47 seconds. So now, you know, if you can manage to hit Z and X, that's pretty much all you have to do. You don't have to manage anything. These nav controls are doing it for you. Once again, I can do one click forward on warp time. Get to 10 seconds away. And do that. When I hit 0, hit Z. Alright, I can switch to map mode so we can see our ship burning nice and pretty. All I have is my fingers on Z and X, and I'm taking deep, slow, relaxed breaths, watching porn on my other monitor. Oop, wait, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Go back to map mode. Now all you have to do is manage to remember to hit the X key when this gets to 0. You can see our orbit is getting pushed out. Right? This yellow tick line is where where we want to go, and this is going to catch up. So See, when it gets there, I stop it, and then I just manually use the shift key to burn until they're lined up. There we go. We just made our burn. So now we're headed to the moon, and we have 735 delta V left. We're only going to need 280 to capture and 280 to get home. So we got a little to spare. Okay, so now I can kill this maneuver node. Boom. And once again, I can left click the moon. Whoop, where's it at? That's where the moon really is. I haven't made it there yet. So I can right click the moon and hit focus again and then come up to here. And I can click right here and I can say warp here. This is you're leaving Kerbin's sphere of influence and you're entering the moon's sphere of influence. It's like a funnel. Right? Once we hit this point, we're falling into the moon's funnel. Boom. So now once you're there, what you do is you make a maneuver node right here on top of the PE. And you make a retrograde burn until you circularize. Once again, to know when you've circularized, you keep doing this until... Oh, sorry, it doesn't work when you're... oh, it does work, okay. See, I started out up with my above, right? And as soon as I get a circular, the AP and the PE will want to swap. And when you get them about 50, you know, one here and one there, you're generally going to be in a perfect circular orbit. 112 by 106 here, close enough for government work. Right. So once again, step 1, press this button to point to the maneuver node. Right there. Press this button to warp up to the point where you're going to make the burn. Take deep breaths. You know, take a drag on your DB thing. And when this gets to 0, you just hit, all I have my fingers on are Z and X. So I can warp to 10 seconds away from the burn. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. Now I just have one finger on the X key. Once again, when it gets right there, I'll stop it, and then I'll just use a little tap on the shift key until... Oh, I hit the Z. Doggone it. We can fix this. I'm going to turn prograde. Right? I'm now on the prograde marker, and if I hit the shift key, I'm just doing 3 taps on the shift key, and then taking my finger off the Z key, and putting it over the X key, and when they line up again this time, there we go. There you go. You're in orbit around the moon. Last step. How do you get home from the moon? What time are we at? Shoot, we're at 44 minutes. It's turning into an hour video. I'm trying to explain too much, and I apologize. But get home from the moon. The moon is moving this way, to the left. You want to exit opposite the direction the moon is moving, so you fall back into Kerbin's sphere of influence. So if you put a maneuver node right about here, just a little bit in front of the right, would be like the 9 o'clock position, I guess. Add a maneuver node, and we're just going to burn prograde. There we go. You see, I escaped the moon. As soon as I escape the moon, you can see this tick line. This is the orbit I'm going to fall back into, right? And so what I like to do at this point is double-click Kerbin, so it focuses it, come in here, so I can see the PE, and then once again, left-click will pin it. See how it's pinned there now? So now I'm going to go back And once again, the tricky part is being able to get your maneuver node to open again, which it did, right? And what I want to do is, you see that it's kind of where I'm going to exit is inside the circle. I want to always keep this trying to be exiting on the circle. So you grab the whole maneuver node and you can pivot it like that. And then once again, burn prograde some more. And as I burn prograde, look, I'm making the PE smaller and smaller. And you want to bring this down to 35 kilometers. No lower and not above 40, or you'll have to do several loops, right? So, and I could keep adjusting this, but I'm just gonna, you got so much delta V, I'm just gonna do it. Just gonna keep going prograde until that gets to 35, right there, close enough, right? And look, I've used 266 delta V, so we're even ahead. Once again, 3 steps. Click, point to the maneuver node. Click, warp to the maneuver point. So I'm not even looking at the moon. I'm not even out there. I didn't even have to come out of this map screen. Right? Although it's nice to do it time to time, because it's, you know, people that are watching your stream don't want to just watch the map screen the whole time. So I'm warping up 11 minutes till I get to the burn point. I hope it's okay that I'm going into so much detail, but there's so much as I'm watching your stream, and I want to try to be typing all of this that I'm going through right now, and so you can see why I was getting all finger twisted. And then there's like 85 different cooks in the kitchen, and it was just, I had a headache. I had to stop working on something I was doing already. 30 seconds. I got to keep my little attention here. So once again, my fingers are only on Z and X. Really, it should just be on Z. And when that gets to 0, I'll make the burn. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Burn. Now my fingers only on the X. Stop it. Right? Now just on the shift key, and this time with your other finger on the X and not the Z. There we go. Should be pretty close. So if I do this, doink, and we're at 35K. Perfect. Now we can just warp to here, and we have what left? We have 147 delta V remaining. So that's why you might want to make your ship with the extra, with that extra booster, and then actually use the core stage to start burning towards the moon. You'll actually get in orbit with the core, with fuel still left in the core stage. So I'm gonna warp to here. See, I'm still in moon sphere of influence, still in its influence, and then, you know, boom. Now I'm in Kerbin's sphere of influence, and I'm falling back towards Kerbin. Okay, time warp's complete. It tends to end early, which is a good thing. I'm going to warp to here. And now I'm going to go into map mode, finally. Now, one of the other navball things. There's this one here that says normal. Turn normal. Burns in the normal direction will change your the whole pitch of your plane of your orbit, and they're the most expensive burns you can make. So when I decouple facing this way, the impulse of my decoupling won't change my PE, because I'm trying to pitch the orbit up this way rather than than slow it down. Actually, yeah, it would slow it down this way. So so now it's safe to, let me just check here. Yes, I'm going to decouple. There we go. So we can get rid of all of those guys. Now we've got all of our science and our heat shield and our command module ready. And now we'll click retrograde. Okay. So now, and the other advantage of decoupling facing normal is that you don't have, you remove the risk of accidentally running back into your service stage as they're slowing down, because you will slow down at different rates because science. Okay, so as soon as I get to 70, I'll be in Kerbin's, start hitting the atmosphere interface. And I just realized our entire mission was in darkness. The music stops. I'm now in atmosphere. I can warp up to 3 times. I'm sorry, 4 times. Right. But I know from experience at 35 kilometers, I'm going to deorbit. In fact, when the PE goes negative, up here, as soon as that PE turns negative, I'm definitely out of orbit. See, it's coming down, 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 down. Right now, I'll hit the unwarp buttons, and my PE is negative. Now, as soon as your AP goes below 70, you're definitely going to deorbit. Right, but this is all normal. Now, when I get to about 1100 meters per second, the heating will start to decline. All this heating effect will start to decline. If you right click here, you can see I've barely used any of my ablator. (1400 meters per second). 70% of the planet is water, so you have a 1 in 3 chance of, or 2 in 3 chance of always coming in over water. If you don't, like right now, I can see them coming over land. Might make it to water. Where am I gonna land? Oh, it's dark. I can't see if that's water out here or not. Oh, that's actually the KSC. I think it is. Did I say KSC? Kentucky Fried Chicken? Colonel Stanley's Chicken? Oh, nope, but I'm going to fall short. Atmospheric drag. There's a mountain range here that I might end up hitting. It looks like I'm going to fortunately be past it. This is grasslands here. 2 different biomes. Right, now what I'm doing is I'm looking up here. And I'm going to switch this into... actually, I'm going to pop my chute because I'm getting really low. When this gets to 3,000 above ground level, which there's a mode. Why can't I see where you switch it from ground? Oh, it's over here. See, right now I'm in sea level. When I switch it to ground, I was already only 500 feet above the ground. Now I've got my parachute set to deploy, full deploy at what should be now. Oh boy. Okay, let me zoom in here and concentrate again. This could be bad. Yeah, I'll land right on the side of a cliff. Beautiful. Now just pretend this is ground. If I die here, I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to try to keep myself from going down the hill. And I did. Okay, but we landed. Now, if that was water or if it was flat ground, you would have been fine. This would have been a perfect tutorial, but, well, that's life. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to end the stream here, and I'm going to put this up, and then I'm going to send you a message in your Discord channel to go watch the replay, and you can see the whole thing again. Well, it'd be again for me, but for the first time for you. Once again, thanks, Tigger, and I'm sorry if I was a little short this afternoon. I just was working on a headache, and just everybody over talking everybody else was making me nauseous. So here we go. That's the end of the stream. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be doing something later, another time, another day.